again, I am back with another video. Now last week, if you watched the video, I said I was going to be back talking about romantic relationships, but I changed my mind. Instead, we're going to postpone that video and do it at a later date. Following the announcement that we had on Monday, so nearly a whole week ago now, Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister of the UK, said that schools are going to be returning on the 8th of March. And so I thought, with that not being too far away, let's do a video on that, because I'm sure you have got many feelings about this. Maybe you are feeling really excited and you just cannot wait to get back in your uniform and at school with your friends and doing proper learning, not doing online learning. Or maybe you're feeling a bit apprehensive and a bit anxious and a bit worried about it. What I want to share with you is every feeling, no matter what you're feeling, it is valid and it is okay. But it's worth remembering that not all feelings are from God. For example, although it is totally okay to feel nervous and scared and a bit worried, we know as Christians that fear doesn't come from God. In fact, so often when God encounters someone in the Bible, it starts with, "Fear not." So often does he start by saying that. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7 says, "For the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but it gives us power, love and self-discipline." As Christians, we know that God fills us with his Spirit. From this Bible verse, we know that that gives us power and love. And that doesn't mean power like a king or a queen, like, "Oh, look at me, I'm in charge, blah, blah, blah," like that type of power. But it means that we can be happy and joyful and fear not, exactly like the Bible verse says. Because we know that God is in control. Now, how do we know that God is in control? Because obviously, that's a big statement to say. How do we know that when we see everything go wrong? Well, I've spoken about it before and I'll speak about it again. And one way to remember that God is in control is looking back over your life and over the Bible. And we can look at what God has done for them. We can look at his promises, saying he'll always look after us and he'll always be there with us and be in control. And we can look back at all the scenarios that God has done that, and not only in our own lives, but in the lives of those even in the Bible. So going back to school can bring lots of emotions and it can bring lots of feelings. And like I said earlier, every feeling is valid. If you're feeling really excited, can I encourage you to keep feeling excited and to keep feeling optimistic about what this change is going to bring? And if you're feeling worried and anxious and nervous, can I encourage you to hand that over to God? To say to God, "Hey, I don't want to feel this anymore. I need you to come and fill me with your Spirit and take this feeling away and replace it with peace and joy." Philippians chapter 4 verse 6 says, "Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything by prayer and petition with thanksgiving present your requests to God." So why not do that? If you're feeling worried, don't worry about it. Present that to God. Say, "Hey, God, I'm really stressed. I'm really worried. I don't know what I'm going to do." And ask him to come and fill you with peace and with joy. So we've spoken about how to look after yourself and how to pray to God and hand over your worries and your concerns to him. But what about those around you? What about your friends or maybe even your family that are a bit worried about you returning to school? I want to encourage you to try and pray with them or pray for them. And maybe you could even send a little note of encouragement. A text or a phone call, or maybe even something in the post, just to say, "Hey, look, thinking about you, how you doing?" So yes, remember, if you are feeling nervous, there are things that you can do. You can pray to God, like we've said, you can hand it over to him, which is really hard, but when you've done it, you'll feel a massive weight come off your shoulders. And another way to do that, to get rid of this anxious or scared feeling, is to actually worship God and read the Bible, to remind yourself of his promises. Another really good way is to do something creative or something which is relaxing, which you can spend time with God in. Maybe you can paint a picture, or maybe you can go on a walk in nature and just be in awe of him and try and remember what his promises are for you. So before we head off, just remember that Bible verse. Do not be anxious about anything, but in everything, by prayer and petition, present your requests to God. So we're going to be back next week with another video talking about going back to school and what else that can entail and how we can help you with that. See you guys soon. Bye.